has any communication ever come from the college, your college of dental surgeons, to any of your members saying that they, I don't know, should not communicate to anyone about their concerns, if they have concerns, regarding fluoride?
Okay. I'm going to address your question, but I'm also going to avoid it, basically for the mandate that we have as president, and I'm on the executive committee. As complaints come in, we have to now, as of June the 3rd of this current year, the whole process in the healthcare profession has changed. We now have an investigation, complaints, and reporting committee, an ICR for an acronym, that is there. As the information comes to us, we must keep that confidential until the process is done, be it through the complaints process, be it through the discipline process, and so forth. So not to answer your question, if any complaints have come through recently, even if they did, I could not address that. Having said that, however, what's the legal term? Hypothetically, what would happen is not necessarily from the dentist. Again, we do not represent the dentists. We represent you. We represent the public. And with that, hypothetically, if a dentist in the province of Ontario had a patient, and let's say the parents have been going on a regular basis with their children 3, 4, 5 years of age, and reasonably, went every 6 months, they'd listen to what the dentist said, the hygienist said, and the assistants and so forth. All of a sudden, the child, let's say, is 7 or 8 years of age. And again, hypothetically, bite wing or cavity detecting x-rays are taken, and all of a sudden, the child hypothetically has 10, 12 cavities. I think it's important to maybe jump back just one part here, that every tooth in the mouth, whether it's on a child or an adult, is very much like a box on the table. On the box, you have the front wall, you have the back wall, on the tooth, you have the cheek side and the tongue side. So you've got the 4 surrounding walls, plus the very top surface. So every tooth has 5 surfaces to it. On a child's dentition, a 5 or 6, years of age and under, there's 20 teeth, so we have 100 surfaces that we would deal with. Once they become 6, 7 years of age, some of the permanent teeth come in. Now we're up to adding another 20 surfaces, we're up to 120. The average adult has 32 teeth. Multiply that by 5, we have 160 surfaces that we can deal with. All of these surfaces are potential targets for tooth decay, for breakage, but also targets where the fluoride would work to prevent this from happening. But let's go back to that 8-year-old child hypothetically has, I don't know what I said, 10, 12 areas of decay. For the sake of a postage stamp, and I think justifiably so, the parents would say, hold it, I've been bringing my child to you for the last, whatever, since the child was 2, 2.5, 3 years of age, every 6 months diligently, and now you're telling me that, there's 12 cavities, and I compliment the doctor, the pedodontist here in Thunder Bay, she gave you an excellent presentation. All of a sudden, let's say that child is nervous and has 12 areas of decay and needs a general anesthetic and so on. That is a traumatic experience. And why did that happen? They're going on a regular basis, but we are only seeing that child twice a year for maybe a half an hour in the practice. Total time in a year is 1 hour, where we would put topical fluoride on there. That is not enough. You've heard about all kinds of supplements. Sure, in Europe they're doing different things. They got supplements, but Europe has different, a lot of it has fluoridated water already to even higher standards what we're recommending. The salt additions and so forth. It's a different format in society there than what we have here in North America, and speaking specifically to the province of Ontario. But that parent could easily file a complaint to the Royal College and file a complaint against the dental office, the hygienist, the dentist, and so forth. And if it was to the hygienist, it would also involve their college, because they would be in the same mandatory aspect they must investigate. The first thing I know our college would do is look at the complaint, get an investigator who would come into that office, and we'd want to see what preventive measures were done in regards to keeping that child as much as possible cavity-free. And if the practice was not promoting fluoride as one of the benefits, we would definitely take a look at why. And again, go back to the evidence-based research that's available. In, the standards of practice today in the province of Ontario are such that, they can make, as a dentist, I would make the fact that fluoride, I can put topical fluoride on your children's teeth. If you want to refuse that, that's entirely your right to do so. And I would document that in my notes. I have done my due diligence and said, in my opinion, according to the standards and the science evidence-based right now, fluoride does work. It hardens the teeth. It prevents decay and so forth. But you, as the parent, as the person of authority with that child, to determine what kind of treatment they do or do not get, you refuse that treatment. I will document that in my notes. Now you are responsible. I'd venture to say that if I was shocked too that Thunder Bay has not had fluoridated water. In a litigious society right now, does it just end with the dentist's office, or where does it go? But that's how the investigation would be done from the dental aspect of things.
Okay. My understanding of your answer is then that if a complaint was lodged against a dentist who did not, I guess, do
Promote fluoride.
Promotion of fluoride, you folks would then go in and investigate.
We investigate on behalf of the parent or the
Okay.
person, the citizen, if you will, who's filing that complaint.
That part I understand. Okay. However, if a dentist wanted to publicly appear, for example, on this stage and talk about his concerns, for example, well, I won't even get into the example, but if he wanted to come or she wanted to come and talk about his or her concerns about fluoridated water, specifically fluoridated water, would his or her license be in jeopardy in any way?
It could be in jeopardy if a citizen in Thunder Bay was in the audience, as many are right now today, and said, hold it. My parent, 87 years of age, in the long-term care facility, had exactly what you saw in pictures. I wasn't privy to those pictures. Or my child of 8 years of age, who now has 12 cavities on these teeth. That complaint comes in, it's the public who we will listen to. It's not the dentist.
So your college, just is a question. So your college then would blame the dentist?
I'm sorry?
You would blame the dentist for the bad teeth?
We would investigate to see whether or not there was sufficient, according to the standards that we would have for public protection and safety in the province of Ontario, with all the dental procedures and standards that are available today, was that dentist practicing proper preventive dentistry techniques? In the same way that if an implant, just to pick something completely different, was not done in proper aligning with the bite and into the proper bone placement and so forth, if there was areas that this implant was not placed properly according to the standards that are being taught, that dentist will be asked to take another course, for example, a rehabilitative program and so forth. I'd venture to say if the office was not promoting just the basic toothbrushing and flossing, and that wasn't documented in the notes, and there wasn't topical fluoride being put in there, or, as I mentioned, the option of having fluoride done, and if the guardian said, no, I don't want it, and then if they made a note that this was not done. But if they weren't practicing proper preventive dentistry techniques, I would venture to say that, hypothetically, the investigative committee itself, the complaints committee would look at that and recommend that this dentist, he, she, take a course in preventive dentistry techniques, again, looking at all aspects of, whether it's sealants, one of them definitely would be fluoride and so forth, and the different ways that can be applied. I don't know if that answers the question directly or...
You're getting there. Given what you just answered this evening then, is it likely, hypothetically, that any local dentist would come and speak about their concerns?
Hypothetically, again, if a dentist came in, I'm not sure, by the way things are going here, he might be here tomorrow yet, but let's say there was a dentist that came in at your next council meeting and talking against fluoride, with the groups that are out here that are quite vocal here today, and said adamantly that he, she was
Had
not
concerns
in favor of fluoride and so forth, and felt that it was causing all the stuff that you've heard it here, ad infinitum, with all the different diseases and so on, again, unsubstantiated. And all it would take is, you know, if I was in the audience, in a sense, I'd be biting my tongue and probably getting very upset, but it would still, in order to activate the system, it would have to be one of your citizens, one of your patients, if you will, that went to that dentist. That person would be the one who'd have to file the complaint.
So that dentist would be at risk?
That's no
coming
question.
here. All right,
No question.
thank you.